had the flu all weekend, so I'm still coughing a lot, so you'll excuse me. I'll try not to cough in your direction. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to discuss like how our business is using social media and how are ways that you can use social media. First and foremost, everyone knows the first one, of course, brand building. There was a web study done called the Global Web Index, and it indicated that participation in social networking and microblogging sites has increased 20% in the last year. So, and then there was another study by CX Technologies that indicated that 1.8 billion people conduct their everyday business on the internet, be it finance, be it reading the news, playing games, communicating with friends and family. So that shows you that if your customers are online, then that means that so should you. One example is our President Obama. Obama was the first presidential candidate to embrace social media. He used his Twitter as a live feed for people to know, to tell people where he was going, where he's been, what he's doing. He was the first presidential candidate to place an ad on Hulu, which is an online TV movie service. He also, allowed people to use his, his persona or whatever. Even though I think there's a lawsuit that just happened, but with one artist. But other than that, like he used online stores to sell his swag, and people could buy it online, and they could be walking advertisements for him. So he was the first presidential candidate to do that, and now other candidates are starting to do the same. Drew Olanoff is another good example. He was diagnosed with cancer, and what he did was he created a Twitter hashtag with, if you don't know, it's like a keyword that you can use on Twitter. And he created a Twitter hashtag called I Blame Drew's Cancer. Every time somebody would use his hashtag, he would donate $1 to cancer research. It got so popular. So an example is like, I blame Drew's cancer because my dog ate my homework. And people would have like really funny ones like that. Every time that happened, $1 would be donated to cancer research, so it was a really good cause. Luckily, his cancer is in remission, so he's fine. It got so popular, though, that Livestrong, which is Lance Armstrong's foundation, actually partnered up with him. So definitely, people are building their brands online, and the ones who are doing it are the ones who are actually connecting with their customers. It isn't like traditional marketing, which back in the day was a one-way conversation. You talk, they listen. It's not like that anymore. You have to connect with with your customers. It's a two-way conversation now. You just don't talk one way and they just sit there and listen. I see a lot of businesses. That's one thing that you shouldn't do. I see a lot of businesses still doing that. I see it on their Twitter and Facebook where they post about themselves. And when somebody responds to them or somebody comments or sends them a question, they don't respond. And that right there makes people just be like, okay, what's the point of talking to these people anymore? So that's why you have to really engage with your customers and take the time to do that. And one thing, like Alexander said, you have to find your target market. Find out where they are. Just because now the popular thing is Twitter and Facebook, that doesn't mean that your target market, that's where they're actively at, participating in. Like example, like an event planner, you would have, you would probably use Vimeo. Vimeo is like, that's like the artistic YouTube. That's where like the artistic YouTube, that's where the event planners go. They don't just go to YouTube anymore. Vimeo is the place to go. You would want to have like Flickr, have an event, have your pictures on there, and things like that. So you definitely have to find out where your target market is and be there. So number 2 is customer service. There was a customer experience impact 20 report, and it indicated that 82% of consumers stopped doing business with a company due to bad customer service. Of those, 73% cited rude staff, and 55% indicated lack of response of the company not responding back to them. One example is Comcast. They created a Twitter account called Comcast Cares. Anytime somebody would send a tweet, saying like, "Oh my gosh, Comcast sucks," or "My account, something's wrong with it," they would respond to that customer. Zappos is a better example. They're #1 in customer service. They're known for their customer service. I don't know if anybody's bought shoes or handbags there. I have, and they're amazing. You know, they even have like free shipping if I need to return it back. And one of the great things about them is that there's so many ways to reach them. It isn't just, you know, like, oh, well, call them and wait for them to get on the phone. You know, you can reach them by email. They have online chat. You can reach them on different social networking sites. You know, just different ways to reach them and stuff like that. And our CEO, Tony Hsieh, just said in a recent interview that in order for companies to survive in this economy, they'll need a top-notch online customer service. So, and he knows what he's talking about because 88% of his customers are happy, and a lot of a lot of companies can't say that. So, for him to say that, you have to listen to what he's saying. And they even use their real online calls and things like that to get new business. So that's how, you know, popular Zappos is how well they're doing with their customer service. And so you have to have multiple ways for your customers to reach you. I'll get back to it because the third thing I'm going to say kind of goes hand in hand with customer service, and it's kind of like a tip to know what your customers are saying or your target market saying, so you can, you know, reach out to them. 3, deflecting problems or solving problems. One thing about the internet, you know, you can be I don't know, a 40-something-year-old burly man, and you can say you are a 20-something-year-old petite woman. It's very anonymous. So you can be anyone, and a lot of people, you can bash any company, and that can destroy a company's reputation. That's the thing with the internet. It's very anonymous. In 2009, I don't know if anybody saw that video. I mean, I know some of the TV stations picked up on it, of 2 Domino's employees doing very disgusting things to unsuspecting customers' pizzas. And it was really gross. Like, I could barely watch it. It was really gross. But that could have destroyed Domino's because people were very disgusted by it. And even though Domino's had already fired and pressed charges, millions of people had already seen it because it went viral on YouTube. What Domino's did, though, is they used social media. They posted a video on YouTube of the president, Patrick Doyle, apologizing for this and reassuring the American public that this would never happen again. Any tweet or anything on their Facebook, they created a Facebook page. Anytime somebody responded, even if it was like a really rude comment, they responded back to them. Now, you know, I know you've seen it on TV. You know, show your pizza. I know you've seen those commercials from Domino's where people are taking pictures and they can post it on the Domino's website. So they're using their website as another tool to market, you know, and try to deflect this issue that happened. And actually, the Domino's brand has reinvented itself. Another brand is Toyota. Toyota, I don't know if you remember, but they had a few recalls, and they even had a few deaths related to their cars. And they went from having a very positive image to all the way negative. You know, they had a few deaths, you know, that happened. And Toyota did the same thing. They used social media. They sat there. They did the same thing as Domino's. They even created like a series of videos. And now they're, you know, it's like people have forgotten about that. I mean, people haven't forgotten, but, you know, it's like they're back to being a positive, you know, having that positive image they used to have. So one thing that I recommend for everybody to do, I always tell people this, even if it's just for yourself, Google yourself, set up alerts. Like, Google allows you to set up alerts, or whatever search engine you use, if you use Yahoo. Set up alerts on your company. Set up alerts on your competitors. See what's going on there. Also set up alerts on your areas of expertise. On Twitter, same thing. Like, set up alerts on Twitter, on your company, on your competitors, and on your area of expertise. I mean, if, let's say, somebody who isn't your customer responds and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm having a problem in this field, you can respond back to them because you have that alert that pops up and say, hey, you know, I'm here. I can help you with this problem. How can I be of assistance? So those are the things that I recommend when it comes to things like deflecting problems in customer service, is definitely set up alerts. So right away, you're instantaneously, you know what's going on, and you're not, that person isn't waiting 24 or 48 hours for you to get back to them. Number 4. is networking. Networking, you know, I definitely recommend continue networking online. I mean, offline. You know, going to networking events is always good, but you should also put the same effort into networking online as well. I'll take myself as an example. I'll put myself there. You know, I love networking online. At first I didn't see the value of, let's say, LinkedIn, but LinkedIn has definitely evolved. I'm very active in their groups and things like that, and I've actually made great connections on LinkedIn. Different people. And I've also, there was another networking site, I went and I talked to someone, and now, you know, he has a very big following online and on his internet show, and just because we created that friendship on one of these networking sites, he now asked me, like, hey, you want to be one of my guests on my show? So that's the thing, you never know who you're networking with and how they can help you. And the one thing about the networking online is, like Alexander showed, it's not just a couple of people that you meet in person that you just connect with. You're connecting with a huge wide range of people. So, and another one that just came out that a lot of people are talking about is Quora. I don't know if anybody has heard of it. It's Quora, but it's like a question and answer, and everyone's saying it's going to be the next, it's like the next thing in for 2011 it's like the big thing. And a lot of the people, like you see, like people ask a question, and a major example is someone asked a question about Yahoo, and they said, like, hey, I don't understand why the CEO is doing this. The CEO actually responded to that person. So I definitely recommend, like, Quora is a great way to network because you actually get to meet, you know, people in your same field and people in your other fields that you're trying to connect with, and they actually, you know, will sit there and talk to you. Compared to, it's like a really good, you know, I think it's a good networking site, and I recommend that, you know, you check it out. Did you hear? Quora, and it's different fields. It isn't just like one field. Everyone's on there. So I definitely